Today on NewsWatch, the court says no. What's next for President Trump's travel ban now that it's been rejected by judges again? Plus,
the people are fed up with a politician ignoring the problems. They are being called racist if they make a remark about, hey, this is not our country anymore.
Cracking down on immigration in the heart of Europe. CBN News sits down with the man who could cause the EU to explode. And helping Syria's victims of war. See how Orphans Promise is reaching all the way to the Middle East to offer hope. Thanks for joining us for CBN NewsWatch. I'm Charlene Aaron. A federal appeals court refused Thursday to reinstate President Donald Trump's temporary travel ban. That is the executive order that blocked immigrants from 7 predominantly Muslim nations with links to terrorism. As Dale Hurd reports, President Trump is vowing to keep fighting to protect America.
The judges on the panel from the San Francisco-based 9th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals said that the argument that the order targets Muslims raised serious allegations and presented significant constitutional questions. The panel declined to block a lower court ruling that suspended the order and allowed previously barred travelers to enter the U.S. Moments after the ruling, President Trump was sounding as if he would appeal to the Supreme Court, tweeting, "See you in court. The security of our nation is at stake."
It's a political decision, and we're going to see them in court, and I look forward to doing it. It's a decision that will win, in my opinion, very easily.
We have seen him in court twice, and we're 2 for 2.
Democrats may be gloating now, but the 9th Circuit Court is the most overturned appeals court in the country. In 2012, the Supreme Court overturned 86% of the cases that came to it from the 9th. The court is so liberal, critics have called it the 9th Circus. The Justice Department says it's reviewing the decision and considering its options. The decision came down on the first day on the job for new Attorney General Jeff Sessions, who was sworn in at the White House Thursday. Law professor Rory Little does not think the Trump administration stands a good chance of victory if it appeals to a divided 8-member Supreme Court.
If the Trump administration wants to take it to the Supreme Court for an emergency motion to Justice Kennedy, who sits as the circuit justice for this part of the United States, they can do that. But that court is now divided, we think, 4-4 with 8 members. They don't have a 9th member. And so I don't see how the Trump administration would expect to win at the U.S. Supreme Court.
But other court watchers disagree and believe the Trump administration could win at the High Court. Meanwhile, the Washington Times reports the State Department has more than doubled the rate of refugees from Iraq, Syria, and other suspect countries in the week since the president's travel ban was blocked, in what some analysts believe is a push to admit as many people as possible before another court puts a stop to it. Dale Hurd, CBN News.
Thousands of pastors have signed a letter asking President Trump and Mike Pence to allow refugees to come to the U.S. Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard also opposes the order.
First of all, if we want to help refugees, we need to solve the situation that has caused them to flee their homes, that has caused them to flee their country. And we do that by ending this regime change war in Syria to provide a path toward peace and stability that will allow them to come home.
Vice President Mike Pence visited West Point this week and received cheers after his discussion over Trump's new push against ISIS. Pence said, "Make no mistake about it, President Trump and this administration and this country will not rest until these enemies are destroyed and our nation is safe again." Pence was also cheered again when he used his executive authority to grant amnesty for minor offenses to the cadets. Pence visited West Point to honor Henry Flipper, a former slave who was the first African American to graduate from the institution. CBN News has been at the forefront of covering efforts to repeal the Johnson Amendment the last few weeks. It's an IRS rule that blocks nonprofits and churches from supporting or opposing political candidates. President Trump has vowed to repeal it. Now Abigail Robertson has met up with one congressman who has been fighting to end the Johnson Amendment for more than a decade.
Donald Trump made many promises to evangelicals during his campaign.
One of the early things, one of the absolute first things I'm going to do is work on totally knocking out the Johnson Amendment.
Now, lawmakers and lobbyists want him to take action.
2017 is going to be the year it goes.
Longtime opponent Congressman Walter Jones has already introduced a bill this term calling for the amendment's repeal. It's a move taken by Jones each year since 2001, when he first noticed the IRS monitoring people of faith during the 2000 election.
It's kind of like Big Brother listening to what the minister or priest or rabbi might be saying in this situation.
Senator Johnson introduced the amendment in 1954, an election year, when two Texas nonprofits supported his primary opponent. He proposed a law that denies tax-exempt status to any 501c3, including houses of worship, that influence or intervene in a political campaign.
It was a totally spiteful amendment passed by Lyndon Johnson in a very destructive way, and I think that it weakens the influence of religion in America, and I think America is a much better place when we are reminded that God is central to what we're doing.
Supporters say the amendment prevents churches from becoming super PACs, but critics like Jay Sekulow call it a threat to freedom of speech.
The Johnson Amendment basically was a muzzle on the First Amendment rights of churches.
Sekulow argues the purpose of the IRS is to collect revenue for the general treasury, but this amendment turned it into the speech police.
All this is doing is restoring the free speech rights to churches where it already belongs.
Former Speaker of the House Newt Gingrich says people who'd like to see the amendment go need to take action.
Everybody who's watching us should write to their congressmen and their senators in support of repealing the Johnson Amendment.
Advocates hope that outcry will convince the Trump administration to return true freedom of speech to churches and other nonprofits. Reporting from Capitol Hill, Abigail Robertson, CBN News.
There's new information out about how Planned Parenthood, the nation's largest abortion provider, does business. Former employees say the organization pressures clinics to meet abortion quotas by encouraging distressed women to have abortions. Oftentimes, employees were awarded with pizza parties and paid time off for hitting their goal of abortions that month. Former employees say they were trained how to convince women that abortion was their only option, and it's been going on for years. Pro-life activist Lila Rose tweeted this image of a Planned Parenthood award given to a clinic that aborted more babies than it had in the previous year. Pro-life activists expect Planned Parenthood to deny these claims. Well, one Georgia pastor just won a big legal battle. In 2014, Eric Walsh was hired by the Department of Public Health in Georgia. He never knew a week later he would be forced to hand over copies of his sermons to the state. Soon after watching his sermons, the department fired him. First Liberty Institute helped Walsh file a religious freedom lawsuit, and now he's just won a $225,000 settlement. While it's a huge victory, Walsh is still in shock.
Kind of blown away at the idea that in the United States, you could be a lay pastor and on the weekend, deliver messages to congregations, and that could be used against you when you apply for a job or when you're offered a job.
First Liberty calls it a big win at a time when hostility towards religious liberty is rising. Archaeologists from the Hebrew University have discovered a cave that once contained Dead Sea Scrolls. The university says no texts were found, but there's evidence scrolls were once stored in the cave. They found small storage jars, fragments of a scroll wrapping, and a string used to tie a scroll. The scrolls are an important part of the history as they are ancient manuscripts that contain Judeo-Christian texts. Archaeologists say the scrolls are believed to have been stolen from the cave in the 1950s. World-famous high-wire performer Nick Wallenda credits God for saving 5 of his team members after a terrible accident. Wallenda was leading the 8-person team during practice Wednesday when the performers lost their balance and fell 30 feet. He told reporters that miracles are real.
If you don't believe in God, you better start now, because it's a miracle. One of the guys was up over 40 feet high on top of that pyramid, and he'll walk out of the hospital on his own will today. He had 3 broken toes. That's a miracle.
Wallenda was uninjured during the accident. Coming up, he's been called the Dutch Donald Trump, although he hates that nickname. Hear about his plan to make the Netherlands great again. The European Union could suffer another major political defeat next month if, as the polls predict, the Dutch choose Geert Wilders as their next prime minister. Wilders compares the European Union to the end of the Roman Empire, and he says it's only a matter of time until the EU is gone. He sat down for this exclusive interview with CBN's Dale Hurd.
Some say he will be the next nail in the European Union's coffin. Dutch politician Geert Wilders' anti-EU, anti-immigration Party for Freedom is on track to win national elections in March. But he told us why a victory still might not make him the next prime minister. He also calls his conviction on a hate speech charge for saying there are too many Moroccans in the Netherlands ridiculous. He still lives under 24-hour police protection from death threats. And whatever you do, don't call him the Dutch Donald Trump. Geert Wilders emerged from his trial more defiant and more popular than ever, and he granted this exclusive interview to CBN News. After your recent trial for hate speech, you didn't sound very repentant, very sorry.
No, I'm not, How can I be? I really said nothing wrong, and I think I'm the first Dutchman who is convicted for something that is not in the law, because the judge decided that Moroccans, which as you know is a nationality, has to be seen as a race. Dale, the reason I said it was because 80% of the Dutch jihadis who go to fight in Syria are Moroccans. 80%. They are 22 times overrepresented in criminal offenses when it comes to street crime. 60% of the Moroccan youth under the age of 23 has been arrested at least once. So in any poll, it proved that the majority of the Dutch people agreed with me about the Moroccans. And the judge said, because of international jurisprudence, once again, not even in the Dutch law, that Moroccans had to be seen as a race. So if you, in Holland, be careful, tomorrow say that you don't like French, German, or Swedish food or people, you could be called a racist. Of course, this is ridiculous. I did nothing wrong, and that's why I will appeal this crazy verdict.
Why do you think you've become so popular in the Netherlands?
Well, because I'm not comparing myself with Donald Trump or anybody else, but the people are fed up with politicians ignoring the problems. The people are fed up by if they say something about the influx of the mass immigration from mostly Islamic countries, what they really feel as a threat, what really is a threat, they are being called racist if they make a remark about, hey, this is not our country anymore. Those are common people. Those are not racist or people. And at the same time, people saw, while the government had these enormous austerity measures, that the government spent billions of euros to asylum seekers who really were not asylum seekers, but migrants looking for a better life. And once again, Dale, I don't even blame the people for trying to have a better life here. I blame our government to allow it to happen, to not say, enough is enough, you are not a refugee, and we have to defend our own country and close our borders. A country without a border is like a person and a house without a front door. Anybody can enter, and you cannot ask anybody to leave. So it's not a real country at all.
There are many similarities between you and Mr. Trump. A few. You outsiders, bashed by the media.
Yeah.
You've changed the political discussion in the Netherlands.
Yes, I hope.
And you're strong-willed.
I'm very strong-willed, and I'm very impatient as well. And I twitter a lot, and some of the ideas might be the same. Unfortunately, we don't have a two-party system. And like you said before, I hope to win and become prime minister, but I could win and not become prime minister because of our system. You can win the elections and still lose if nobody wants to work with you. And the people, most of the parties are saying now that they would not want to work with me. But hey, as Mr. Trump says, there are many differences perhaps as well. I'm not the Dutch. One of your colleagues, I believe it was from Fox or CNN, asked me, you are the Dutch Trump. I said, no, I'm the Dutch Geert Wilders. Mr. Trump is Mr. Trump, I'm Mr. Wilders. I'm not anybody's copy or whatsoever. But I believe indeed, as Mr. Trump said, that despite some differences, we have a lot in common. And it's a kind of movement. It is a kind of movement, as he calls it. It's also in Europe. We are not Trump's movement. Trump is not our movement, but the people are wakening up.
What do you hope is the future of the European Union?
I'm against the European Union, as I told you, but I'm very much in favor of Europe. Europe is my home. Europe is my continent. Europe is where we live. The European Union is a political, bureaucratic organization that took away our identity and our national sovereignty. So I want to get rid of the European Union and be a nation state again. Both the Eurozone and the European Union is like the end of the Roman Empire. It's already started. In a few years' time, it will not be there anymore. Don't ask me whether it will be 2 years or 10 years, but the end is near, like the Roman Empire. It's gone. We need to have an exit, like Brexit, an exit, and leave the European Union. That's inevitable.
When I last interviewed you, it was 10 years that you had been in police protection. Now it's, what, 12 and a half?
Yes, it's 12 and a half years.
How's it going?
Yes.
With your semi-free life?
Yeah. Well, I know it's the same answer I gave you last time. I don't wish it for my worst enemy to experience, but I know what I'm doing it for. Whether I succeed or fail, it's my mission. It's my mission for freedom, because I want our people and our country to stay free. It's a sad thing that I lost my own freedom in the process, but if I don't succeed, many more people will lose their freedom.
Excellent, thank you.
It's my pleasure.
Up next, see how this family found hope and help in the aftermath of war. The Syrian civil war has created millions of refugees now living in camps throughout the Middle East in places like Turkey, Jordan, and Lebanon. Here's a story of how CBN's Orphans Promise brought help and hope to one family devastated by that war.
Laura and her brother Bilal walk through the tents of this refugee camp in Lebanon every day. They and their mother have struggled to get by on their own ever since the Syrian war engulfed the city of Homs and their father was killed.
A large bomb hit our house. My dad and some of my relatives died. I still get really sad when I hear other girls saying, "Daddy, Daddy," because I can't say that anymore.
We barely made it out of Syria, but life here has been very hard. We came with nothing and relied on charity of our neighbors to survive.
Laura's mother told me one of her biggest worries now is her children's future.
It really hurt Lara not being able to go to school. She is such a smart child, and I just wanted her and Bilal to have a chance to do all the things that I could not.
So Heart for Lebanon, with support from CBN's Orphans Promise, invited Laura and Bilal to attend our Hope Center, a school dedicated to educating refugee children. Here, they're learning math, Arabic, English, and music. They're also taught about Jesus Christ.
I didn't know about Jesus before coming here. It makes me so happy to know Jesus loves us and is always with us. Jesus is my God and he never lies. So I try to be like him.
I like to write and color and play with my friends, and I really like to sing songs about Jesus.
At the center, we also show Superbook in Arabic.
The show is amazing because we learn stories from the Bible, and I get excited learning about God. I go home each day and tell my mom everything I have learned.
My kids tell me about Jesus Christ all the time, and when I'm feeling depressed, they say I should pray. So I do. It feels great.
And every month, Heart for Lebanon and Orphans Promise give food to Laura's family and thousands of other refugees.
I can't thank Heart for Lebanon and Orphans Promise enough for everything they have done for us. The Christians are the ones who have really helped us.
I love Heart for Lebanon and Orphans Promise because they are helping us like God teaches us to help others. Dear God, please bless and take care of the orphans of Syria. And please bless the Christians who have opened the school. Dear Lord, please bless them and keep them safe. Amen.
Beautiful. And you can help Orphans Promise as they minister around the world. To find out how, go to orphanspromise.org. We'll be right back. Well, the weekend is here, so you may be looking for a little family-friendly entertainment. And for some help to that, we turn now to our friends at Plugged In Online with a review of the new film Lego Batman. Take a look.
The first lesson is, life doesn't give you seatbelts.
In the Lego Batman movie, life is pretty sweet for the Cape Crusader.
Majestic, right? And yes, those are actual dolphins. Wow, can you believe this?
He's a bit isolated and alone, but that's the way he likes it. And the good folks of Lego Gotham can rest assured that as soon as the bat signal hits the sky, he'll single-handedly vanquish any and all pesky bad guys.
It must be great to be Batman.
Batman, we love you! But when the Joker suggests that he is Batman's greatest enemy, and the Dark Knight gives him a cold cape shoulder, well, that's the last straw.
Are you seriously saying that there is nothing special about us?
There is no us. Never will be.
The clownish villain decides to hatch his most diabolical plan ever, unleashing a horde of dark, dastardly, and dreaded bad guys to make his point. In fact, if Batman is going to win this fight, he's going to need help, even though that's really tough for this hero to admit.
We need to team up with Batman.
What?
For all of its comedic send-ups of Batman, and there's a lot of them in this movie, it delivers a surprisingly tender, significant message. No one can make it alone, not even Batman. The fun flick emphasizes friendship, family, courage, and sacrifice. Unfortunately, it does have some bathroom humor and a double entendre giggle that I could have done without. So I'm giving the Lego Batman movie 3.5 plastic batarangs out of 5 for family friendliness. For an in-depth review of this film, or really anything else at your local box office, be sure to check out PluggedIn.com. Plugging you into the movies, I'm Bob Waliszewski for Focus on the Family's Plugged In Movie Review.
And that is it for now on CBN NewsWatch. You can find more of our exclusive coverage of the issues you care most about at CBNNews.com. We hope you'll join us next time. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.